Hi, I'm Janet Skates and welcome to my YouTube channel. Many of you that follow me on Instagram or maybe here on YouTube know that I paint primarily in acrylic paints. I've painted with oil paints in the past as well, but primarily I paint with acrylic paints presently. In addition to that though, I use oil sticks, pastels, paint pens, um, gouache, pencils of all kinds, and I've been getting into watercolors lately as well. In the past, I've done some journal work with watercolors and some illustrations with watercolors, but I've been expanding that just a little bit recently and I'm having fun playing. I have a couple of sets of Sakura watercolors that I really enjoy and highly recommend. I have as well some Daniel Smith watercolors, which if you haven't tried these, they're just spectacular. The colors are beautiful. The texture is just lovely. And then I have some Winsor Newton as well, and some Sennelier watercolors as well. So you can mix and match. That's what I do. I have lots of different kinds and I mix and match. And then a lot of times I will come in over the watercolor with gouache or Posca paint pens or Tombow markers or pencil. So I really like the versatility of being able to work on the smaller pieces on the paper or up to, you know, around 30 by 40 with the watercolor. But today I'm just doing a really loose, fun, kind of a playful intro to some watercolor flowers. Using mediums outside of our norm is a great way to build our creativity and expand our palette, if you will, expand what we're working with and get us out of, you know, our routine. So I urge you to try something different. If you use watercolors all the time, then try some acrylics or some paint markers. Just spice it up a little bit. It can be really fun and develop some new ideas and come up with some fun ways to explore maybe a new direction. You'll notice in this video that's kind of what I do. You'll see at the end I'll kind of go over what I like and what was my favorite and what I learned and try something different. So hopefully you'll get something out of it as well. As always, please subscribe, like, or comment if you have something you'd like me to talk about. I will certainly try to get to that. I have a list going, so if your question hasn't been answered yet, I'll get to it. And if you have something you'd like to see me do a tutorial on, let me know that as well. I'll be doing more watercolor tutorials. That's really fun. You can follow me on Instagram and you can connect with me on my website, janetskates.com. I want to mention too that coming up in just a few weeks will be the Inside Events virtual weekend retreat that I will be a part of along with several other artists and writers. If you'd like details on that, you can visit the link that we'll share here on YouTube, or you can send me a message and I'll get that info to you as well. If you sign up for my newsletter, then you got information on that here last week along with a free color sheet. So you can sign up for my newsletter on my website, janetskates.com. And I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope to hear from you soon. Thank you. All right, so for today's play, I'm using the same palette that you see me use on my acrylic paints. This is just an inexpensive cafeteria plastic tray with some damp shop towels lining the tray and butcher paper over the top. So I've got a few smudges of color over here. And I'm working on a piece of Arches. It's actually just a scrap piece of Arches hot press paper. So I also use the Arches cold press watercolor paper, but for today I had this piece and I'm just going to play on it. I love Daniel Smith watercolors. But the great thing about watercolor, you can get Sakura sets, you can get Crayola sets. They're wonderful. So you don't have to have a certain kind of watercolor. These are just what I use now. I used to use a lot of the Sakura sets, but I started using some of the Daniel Smith, and I've got some Winsor Newton in here as well. And these are watercolors in a tube. So these you can, you just take a little out. This is a violet quinacridone, and I just add a dab to my palette. Or you can let these dry and paint with them, you know, dry little daubs of them and paint off of that. It's really up to you. This is a quinacridone rose. I've got some beautiful colors in here. So these are fun. And then I also paint out of a Sennelier set here that I just love. These are just half pans. You can get whole pans. I like working with my little half pans because they travel well, and watercolor is a great thing to travel with. You can use watercolor brushes. I have some watercolor brushes and I use those, but I also tend to just pop right into my regular brushes as well. So it's whatever. I think the watercolor brushes do a really great job depending on what you're painting. So I'm going to start with a larger brush. And like I said, I have no plan here. We're just going to really see where this takes us. And that's fun to do sometimes. Remember, the best artwork comes from play. Like we develop our best work when we allow ourselves time to play and experiment and not put pressure that we have to create something every time we sit down. So lots of water. You want lots of water handy. I keep a spray bottle handy as well. And today I'm just going to start playing with some shapes. And I may layer color on these. We'll just see. I don't know what we're going to do yet. For me, this is really fun too, because when I do the more illustrative work with the Tombow markers and the Posca pens, it can be very, a lot of times I do really precise work. And so at times that can be restrictive and almost tedious, and so to come back in and just play with watercolor and really enjoy the looseness and the fluidity of the work is appealing to me. What is also really fun about this watercolor work is that I can come back in after I develop just maybe some fun shapes here. I can come back in with Posca pens or Copic markers or what have you, and I can add details here if I want to create, something, go further with it. I like these because they almost look like the wind has hit and it's kind of pulling them away. And I really love that. All right, I really like that, and I like the blend of colors that I have here. So when I get to this point, I have so many options this is just the fun part. When this is completely dry, I can come in with the Posca pens, and I can add details to these shapes if I want to do that. I can come in with the Tombow markers. Now, I would be careful layering Tombow color over this, but I could go in between and add some accent marks. And I could certainly layer the Tombow marker over the dry watercolor, but I want to make sure that there's a complementary color in doing that so I don't create mud. I can come in with acrylic paint. I could come in with gouache over this. Maybe make some fun middles in these flowers. So I have a really loose work at this point. If I decide to come in and add maybe middle shapes to this, I could really make this more defined. I could add some little pink stems or leaves throughout, which might be fun. Why don't we try that? Let's try that, and then if I want to add some middles, I can do that. So let me get a little bit of green or whatever color, whatever color you like. I'm going to take some of this green gold. That is the, that may be the end of the green gold. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, got it. Okay, so let's take some of the green gold. That's a Daniel Smith green gold. And I want to mix that with a little bit of the ochre. And I do that so that I pick up some of the ochre that I've used here. And I've also got a little bit of yellow out here. So come up with a softer, little bit softer green. All right, and let's see if I just want to maybe add, oh, see how that green just lights up. Lights up these colors. Of course, we know how these reds and greens work together. And purple, a little bit of purple in here. And you'll notice I hold my brush when I'm painting with the watercolor, very similar to how I do when I'm painting with the acrylic. Very loose, kind of let it twirl at times, really, really gentle with it. Now I'm going to bring in a little bit of yellow. Just a little bit of a soft yellow. So this is kind of a diarylide yellow. I just want to add some little bits of yellow here. I just got I love dandelions. Dandelions are just, I love dandelions. But I found this rose that is, it's called a Japanese rose or Japanese, I think it's Akira. I think that was the name. Don't quote me on that, but I think. And it's so beautiful, and the blossoms look like dandelions to me. They look like dandelions. And so I guess that's on my mind this morning, the dandelions, because they're so pretty, and I love that yellow. Love dandelion flowers. I put dandelion seeds out in my yard. Dandelions are awesome. They're strong, resilient, edible, healthy, beautiful. So see, I am just literally with no plan or any preconceived notion. I am just playing and having a ball here. Loosening up those yellow shapes just a little. I don't want them to just be dots. I kind of want them to be a little more blurs. Yeah, oh, that's pretty. Yep. All right, so let's see how we're doing here as far as almost dry. So now I'm going to look at it and decide if I want to come in now with details in the middle, or if I just want, I don't think I want to get like all really detailed in this. I think maybe just a loosely defined focal point on here would be beautiful. And the color that's in my mind is kind of like the soft lavender gray that's in the middle of a poppy. If you notice, it's that ashen gray color that's in a poppy flower. So I'm going to see what I can mix up here to get that color, and I may or may not like it when we get it on there, but I'm going to try it. Maybe even a little Payne's gray. Let's see. I'm going to play with this for just a minute. I've got some Payne's gray here. And it's going to have, I'm going to take a little of the purple mix that I had over here earlier that I used in here. I'm using that so that, again, I have this cohesiveness in the flowers. And now I'm getting some white. Oh, I've got a really pretty kind of an ashen gray, but it's going to have to be darker to stand to stand here against these flowers. So I'm going to go a little deeper, maybe even a little deeper. All right. And we may or may not put middles in all of them. Let's just kind of see what happens. That color is absolutely glorious. I may use a different color in some of them, but it's beautiful. The color is just beautiful. Yeah, really pretty. Oh, they're so cute. Okay, my son will probably edit that out. This here is a little bit lighter gray that I mixed up. And I love that against this deeper rose here. Now on these, I think I'm going to try a really vibrant red, even an orange red. Here I don't want to get too dark, but I would love to see a pop here on these. There's a bristle. I shall get it in a minute. And now I'm going to go a little bit deeper. And these just a little bit darker. It's more of a madder, rose madder here. And then on this one, look at that. Wow. And I like that broken look there. Those are the ones I told you look like they've gotten caught in the wind. So I really like that. I like to leave that broken movement going on there. And then That needs to be a little darker here. Excellent. That is just so fun. So now, before I can decide what to do next, I need to let this dry really well. These are heavy water here. So I will be back and decide what, if anything, I want to do after this. Hi, and welcome back. So this piece is now completely dry, and I'm just going to have a little fun and play with it. Like I told you earlier, there are so many things that we could do with this. So I'm just going to try some different things and kind of see what we like. I do like this idea. This has turned out to be really, really fun exploration. So I've got a Posca paint marker here. This is the 0.7 millimeter. It's my favorite, although I use the different sizes. There's a bullet tip as well and some different ones, but this is the one I use for all of my line work, for journal pages and illustrations and things. So I'm just going to doodle away, and we'll see if we develop some ideas that we like. You know, this is where you come up with some things and make some things that you like and some things you don't, but these are oftentimes launches for works that you can do later. Just come up with some new ideas. So that's what I am going to do. Oh, super fun. So I like this. This is fun. And I've also come up with some ideas that, I may want to incorporate in a piece that I'm working on intentionally, whether it be in a journal or a piece, a finished piece. I've got some fun ideas that I've tried, some things that are my favorite, some things that are not my favorite. This is kind of fun, but maybe for something different. I don't really like it so much here, but I love these. I love these little circles. I love these dots here. I always love these lines, and these turned out to be spectacularly fun. These here. So I've got some things that I would do again and some things that I might not. I love the little background play happening, and I'm very pleased with the color combination. So all in all, this practice was really good for me. So I encourage you to continue your practice. Try something different. Try some watercolors or some acrylic or some oil paints, some markers. Just switch it up a little bit. It's really fun. It keeps you on your toes, gives you some new ideas, and that's always good for getting the creative energy flowing. Check out my Instagram for the latest artworks that I have up and some other information. Inside Events has an event where I will be hosting part of the weekend retreat, a virtual weekend retreat. I would love to have you join me and several other artists for that retreat weekend in April. You can get details on the link below, or you can go to my Instagram and get details there. In addition, Birkenstocks are well over half sold out. So if you want yours, hop over to my website and pre-order your Birkenstocks now. They come out in, let's see, I think manufacturing, they release April 7th. So we're like getting into the countdown. I'm super excited. And any other news, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, or at my website, janetskates.com. And of course, here on YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment. I look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day.